What's up, guys? So it's day 20, day 27 of the 30-day check-in. We'll start off with the weigh-in for today. Now we'll go over to the steps. So let's just hop right into it. So I'm going to title this video Stuck. Fairly simple title. Lately I've been having the feeling that I need to change jobs. I need a bit of a switch up in my life. I've probably had this feeling for the past month or so. And I did record a video earlier today when I was on my way home from work. But I was wearing the work uniform, and I decided it probably wouldn't be a good idea to upload that when I'm talking about the company that I work for. So yeah, this is one of those points where, as the title says, I'm just feeling a bit stuck, a bit kind of trapped in place, I guess you could say. It's nothing particularly with my work environment or the people I work with. They're all great. I have no issues whatsoever with them. I think it's just more of a thing where, my pay isn't great at this job. It never really has been. I pretty much took the job, as I've gone over in previous videos, because I moved here from a new town or a different town, and there wasn't a whole lot of other opportunities. I mean, I had interviews for factory jobs, and I went to a few interviews. There was one where it was going to be a chocolate factory, 12-hour shifts. I think it was 6 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. And it was 3 days a week 1 week, and then 4 days a week the other week. But I'm kind of glad I didn't get that job, because honestly, the factory was like a sweatshop almost. And you were cooped up in there for 12 hours. The pay was decent, but ultimately they didn't end up wanting me. So I think that probably worked out for the best. So anyway, I landed this job doing the cleaning, and so far I've been pretty good at it, I would say. Like, there's no issue in terms of my performance at the job. I think I performed pretty well. Within about 8 months, I did get offered a manager position at this current job. Well, I should say that my current manager had to switch jobs, or had to switch to another store about 20 or 30 minutes away. So while she was doing that relief role, I pretty much stepped in as temporary manager, and I was overlooking 2 stores. And that came with a pay increase, a mild pay increase, I should add, like an extra $3 an hour, and a few more hours per week. So I also worked Saturdays at that point, and I did this for about, I think it was for about 2 months, 2.5 months. And I always had it in my head when I started this job that if I didn't get offered some kind of manager role within the first year, that I would be looking for something else. But I did that role. I took the opportunity. I said, yes, I'll take it. And then after that, after about the 2.5 month mark, I just said, no, I'm not doing this anymore. Pretty much it was a role that required you to be pretty much glued to your phone. They gave you a work phone, so you not only had your personal phone, but you also had a work phone. And pretty much that meant that people could be in contact with you like almost 24/7. So it was the kind of thing where I'd finish work for the day, and then I would just be getting constant calls on the phone. People couldn't make it for shifts. I'd have to replace a bunch of shifts. I think I ended up having to replace probably, I don't know, about 7 to 10 shifts a week. And it just got to the point where, there were some days where I would get literally 30 minutes notice before someone couldn't show up for their shift, so I'd have to scramble around and replace it. This was all like, I'd get a call at 7:30, 8 p.m. at night when I'm supposed to be winding down from the day, and then it'd be right back into work mode. And you don't get paid any extra for answering the phone or doing anything like that. So in my mind, it was like, an extra $3 an hour to do all this. I felt like I should have gotten paid more. And, of course, they were saying, oh, eventually it'll get to the point where we'll put you on a salary. And the salary would be more. It ended up being like an extra 10 to 13 bucks an hour. But even still, it wasn't worth it in my eyes. The job itself was pretty much just, I felt like I was babysitting people. I was essentially just, looking after and replacing shifts when people couldn't show up, and then also dealing with like interpersonal conflicts within the workplace where grown men would have issues that other people weren't working the right way, and I'd get calls from dudes just complaining about other dudes and the team. And by all accounts from the people that, like the higher ups, the store managers and everything, they all said after the fact that I did a great job. But it kind of just felt like it didn't really align with my soul, with what I wanted to do, with what I thought the job would be. It was a lot less cleaning, and I didn't feel like I was actually making much of a difference. But I'm glad that I took that opportunity, because it kind of helped me realize that it's not the role for me. And then I suppose ever since that point, obviously the money got dropped down to what I'm currently on. And in terms of workload, I was happier because I didn't have to deal with the phone or anything after the fact. But then it kind of felt like, well, why am I still staying at this job if there's no chance for upward progression or growth? Not to mention the fact, like I've said, that there are plenty of other jobs that do the exact same thing I'm doing, and actually probably less work overall, and they pay more. So yeah, I'm kind of in that limbo at the moment, at least for the last month and a half, where I've just had no energy at work. I've just had no will to really go in there, and obviously I still go in and I do my job and I do it well. I'm not slacking at work, but I've noticed that in the last month I've taken a lot more days off. Pretty much used up most of my leave, just because I just feel like I don't want to be there anymore. I've been smoking a lot more cigarettes lately. I've taken that up. I was never really a big smoker, but I've noticed that in these periods in my life where things are a little uncertain, or there's a bit of conflict in my own head about what I'm doing, I kind of turn to the cigarettes as a distraction. Which, it's fine. I know I'll get off those soon. But yeah, I'm just feeling stuck, feeling like, not like I'm trapped, because I don't think you're ever really trapped in this life. I think you can always make decisions that will get you out of the hole you're in, and I know that going forward that's what I need to do. But I'm sure a lot of us out there have probably had those moments where we just kind of feel like we're in a hamster wheel, and you're kind of running in place. You're not really going anywhere. So yeah, I suppose if I had to characterize my feelings on that's how I would put it. And that all goes to just, so like I said earlier, I recorded a video on my way home from work, where I was just essentially talking pretty much about this, what I'm talking about here. But like I said, I was wearing my work uniform, and I decided not to upload that video because it probably wasn't the best look. I don't really want people to 100% know we're at work. And more so, I don't want anyone that could potentially see the video, even though they probably won't. But I don't want people to see it and think, oh shit, well, he's talking about our company and he's wearing the uniform, could end bad. Not that it would be the worst thing in the world if I did get fired, but yeah, I'd rather leave on my own terms than have something like that happen. So that was the reasoning behind ending that video. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of make this video, obviously, to do the day 27 check-in, but also to say, like, I'm sure there are other people out there probably feeling the same way with their jobs or maybe other aspects of their life that they feel stuck in. And I think it's totally normal. I think we all kind of have those moments. Like, I'll be honest, I have another 3 days left of work this week, and I don't want to go to any of them. But obviously I need the money, I need to pay rent, I need to keep those things up. So it's not really an option for me to just not show up. So I guess I'm making this video just to kind of get my thoughts out as well. So if you're not really into rambling videos or hearing about certain situations, you probably don't want to watch this one. You probably haven't watched it all the way through, which is fine. But yeah, that's currently where I'm at, and it's the kind of thing where I've definitely had this kind of feeling before, or I've been in this situation where it's like, I'm faced with a decision where I need to do something else, where I need to make a change, and it is scary. It is a little daunting, because I think the main thing I've realized is I'm very comfortable at this job. It's not the best job. It doesn't pay well, but the people that I work with are great. I have no issues there. But I think it's more just the environment and the pay structure. And they are starting to, from what I've heard, they're dropping story hours. So they're dropping a lot of the, I think we have on our roster about 165 hours at the moment for like the whole proactive team, which is the subsection that I'm a part of. And they're dropping that from 165 to 150. Now, the reason that they're dropping that is actually pretty interesting. Apparently, from what I've heard from management, is that the reason they're dropping those hours, and get this, it's probably not surprising to some of you out there that work in big corporations, but the reason that they're dropping those hours is because the higher-ups, the bigger people, at the top of the ladder, so to speak, they want a bigger bonus. So the best way to get a bigger bonus is by dropping the hours of the actual employees that work at the stores so that there's more money for their bonuses. This is just what I've heard. I don't 100% know if it's true, but it wouldn't surprise me. These are people that probably already make maybe 20 to 30,000 for a bonus, and they obviously want 40 or 50,000. They obviously say that, it's because it's winter and we're not as busy during winter, but that's a load of bullshit. We definitely are. It's not like the store stops running during winter. People still want to come and get the essentials and shopping items. So I don't buy that reasoning at all. I'm more inclined to believe that it's because they want bigger bonuses. And what can you do, right? But yeah, it's a lot of those reasons are why I'm kind of just feeling a bit jaded with everything. And yeah, it's gotten to the point where I really have to force myself to go into work every morning, to get up and show up, really. And yeah, I just had enough of it to the point today where I just talked to my manager and said, look, I'm not feeling well. I've just got to go home 2 hours early. And I pretty much left work today, got on the computer, rewrote, re-edited my resume, and applied for 2 other jobs that seem to pay more hourly. And I'll probably continue doing that through the week. Part of me does feel bad because I did say to my manager, that I would stay with the company until she leaves, which is in another 2.5 months. But honestly, I don't even know if I can last that long. So, needless to say, it's interesting times. And you know, maybe there's a lot of you out there that are in similar positions, and I would just say this. I would say that if you're feeling like that, it's not a good idea to always try to keep up with the status quo. And just because your friends or people close to you say, oh, well, you should just keep at the job because it's a job, and plenty of people work jobs they hate, and that's just life. If anyone tells you that, that's just life. It's the biggest fucking cop out ever. The only reason people tell you that's just life is because they want to put a bandage over their own uncertainties with their own careers, and they just want you to be like them. And you know, no hate to those people. You know, they don't want to face the uncertainty and insecurity of maybe realizing that the career they're working at isn't what they actually want to do, and it doesn't align with their soul. And they'll just say you're being, you know, lazy and all this kind of shit, but that's not true. I know for a fact I'm not lazy. I know for a fact when I do show up to work, I work my ass off, a lot more than most of the people there. But they're all getting paid the same I'm getting paid. So like something's not adding up there. And if you really want to make any different moves in life, if you really want to have any different experiences, sometimes you have to get a little uncomfortable. And yeah, I'm just realizing that there's a lot of things I don't like about the job now. And the comfort, I suppose, is one of them. Like it's almost comfortable at the job to the point where it's quite boring now. So just this, I can't explain it. It's like just this little voice within me is saying like, yeah, you need to make a change. So yeah, that's currently where I'm at the moment. I don't really know if I've got a lot more to say. I think I've kind of covered a lot of things. I expected this video to be a little longer, but that's pretty much it. You know, in terms of my weight and things like this, I'm kind of, the gym's kind of taking a bit of a backseat at the moment. I haven't really lifted for maybe 2 to 3 days, which is quite a lot for me. Usually I'm in there every day, or I might take like a day off or 2 days off at the most here and there. But I've just had other things on my mind lately, so I haven't been as active in the gym. But yeah, that's fine. So yeah, that's all I really got for today, guys. I hope if any of you out there are having a similar issue, you know, feel free to leave a comment or yeah, whatever you want. But yeah, I hope anyone out there, you're having a good day, have a good night, and just pay attention to yourself. You know, like don't listen to other people in your ear if there's something you want to do or there's a job you want to leave. Sometimes you just got to say fuck the consequences and do it, because if you're confident in yourself and your abilities and your spirit, then you will find the next step and you'll find what you need to do. And I truly believe that. So that's all I got for today, guys. It's good doing a video in my room here. A lot more comfortable than doing it in the car. Maybe the acoustics are better, I don't know. Let me know in the comments if this works out better for you in terms of the arrangement here. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got today, guys. So I'll see you for the day 28 check-in. And yeah, have a good one. Peace.